Jack Clark, how is he today?
Not good news on Jack. We've got the scan back results yesterday, and he's looking like mid-November at the earliest. So not a good injury, but it wasn't a full rupture, which is the positive. But still, obviously, a bit of a blow to the lad because he's worked so hard in pre-season. He's obviously played a big part in our full results so far and performances. So, but like any professional footballer, these setbacks and these bumps in the road, they happen. And sometimes you can come back stronger from it, and he's in safe hands. So with his work ethic, I'm sure he can come back a better player.
That's such a shame, isn't it? And Chesterfield, unfortunately, don't do short-term injuries, do they? I mean, that's a third relatively long-term one.
It's part of the game, though, Andy, isn't it? So it's it could be looked at as unlucky. It's only in the 57th minute or 58th minute, and he's way below the normal intensity in terms of a 90-minute game. So it wasn't as if he was overloaded. He didn't play on Monday. He came off the bench, obviously at King's Lynn. So it is an unexpected one. But they happen, muscle injuries happen, and we just got to be positive for the lad, make sure the environment's right for him to recover, and we go from there.
In terms of your own deliberations for the weekend then, is Fraser Kerr going to be available to you?
Possibly, yeah. He came into contact on Tuesday. He had another session yesterday, so if there's no setbacks today in training, then he will be available, yes.
I wasn't necessarily going to bring this up today, but seeing as how you've got a medium-term one in Clark, what's the prognosis or an update, I suppose, on the recovery for Denton and Asante?
It is where I've said it all along. Denton's obviously way off, and Asante's doing really well. He had a good week at St George's the other week. He had a week there, and he had some time off midway through the injury, which is normal. We normally give him a week on a long-term injury. So he's had some time at home with his family. He's now back in the fold the last 5 days, and he's looking good. And he's on course to come back when on the timeline that I gave you.
Given perhaps the news today, but in general terms, are you done now in terms of recruitment, or are you still casting an eye on maybe free agents or youth loans, that type of thing?
No, we're happy with the work, the recruitment we've done. I think that's shown. I think it was a big thing that we obviously manoeuvred some players that perhaps did well last year, got us to 6th. Some big decisions were made, and I think hopefully the players have shown, the new players for sure, in pre-season and in the fixtures so far, that they can play a big part in achieving what we want to achieve this year. So I think the relationship's been built with those new players and the supporter base quickly. But it's just a start, and they've got to maintain those performances. In terms of anyone else new in, I'm always looking to improve the team. If someone comes available that I think can improve us, we'll be interested. But having said that, I'm very happy with the squad of players at the moment.
But there's nothing particularly in the pipeline because, like you say, start of the season's been strong.
No. It'll be more at the midway point. We might have a look and see, okay, where are we? What's achievable in the next 5 months up to May, and what do we need to get there, if anything?
So on to match matters then. What do you see then as the next stage of development for this group of players? As you say, results have been very good at the start of the season. What more do you want to see from?
We probably played the best we played under my tenure in the first half against Bromley. Watching the game back, that backs it up on my eye. My initial thoughts after the game was it was a very good performance, definitely for the first half. Second half got a little bit too scrappy in terms of we didn't make enough passes. Our passes were down by a third in the second half, which is disappointing because you obviously still want to maintain levels of performance and your DNA. So probably the answer to that, Andy, would be consistency across the 90, maintaining the performance levels for the 95 minutes or however long we play. I was very disappointed with the outcome, obviously, on Saturday for the team. They didn't deserve that. They deserved the 3 points, but we weren't ruthless in both boxes, and we have been in the previous 3.
Yeah, a bit less injury time would have been nice, I suppose.
Well, yeah, it was. Yeah, I mean, calculating that back up, it was 4 minutes 7 that should have been played maximum, and obviously it's disappointing that we played 6 minutes 45. So I missed my train.
Tough day all round then. Dover then this weekend. Look, their circumstances are very unfortunate, but clearly you are short odds to win, so expectations are going to be very high for Chesterfield this weekend.
Yeah, we thrive on expectation. We want that expectation. We want that interest in the club and the team. It's a banana skin. Everyone thinks it's going to be a walk in the park. No chance will it be. The manager's very experienced. They've got some good players. They've brought some good loan players in from above from the EFL. So they're going to be a challenge, and they've scored goals at Altrincham away. So that'll give them a confidence boost as well. And watching the Altrincham game back last week, they were very unlucky to come away with nothing for sure. On the balance of play, that was minimum a draw for them. So there's not going to be a walk in the park at all. And they've got weapons, so we've got to make sure we respect them, which we have this week. Do some more work this morning, and then travel down there and go into the game fully prepared and focus solely on getting the 3 points back on the bus.
Yeah, it is slightly misleading, isn't it? Because the teams that they've lost to are either decent teams or expected to do actually quite well this season over the course of the first 3 or 4 matches of their campaign.
Yeah, and each game's been tight. I know they lost 2-0 on the opening day for them at Maidenhead, but the other 2 games have been very tight, 1 goal in it. So, and the small margins influence those 2 games. So we've got to make sure we respect them, which we will. The players have been reminded all week about their professional responsibility to the badge, and we've got to go there and make sure we perform like we did at Aldershot.
Marvellous. Best of luck. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Good morning, James.
Morning, Liam.
Obviously, last week you spoke about full time, not wanting the feeling of the draw to sort of linger on, conceding that late goal. Have you seen a positive response this week on the lads?
Yeah, training's been excellent. It has been since we've been back together when we collated back on pre-season. It's been really good intensity. In terms of what I said after the game, it can work in both ways. You can obviously get a last minute winner. Sometimes you can be too high off the back of that feeling, and you go and lose focus in your training the following week. So making sure that when you come across the path of the highs and the lows, etc., you try and maintain a level of balance. And I'm trying to get that over to the group, and I've got no doubts with the experience we've got in that change room. We'll be fine tomorrow.
And you feel like the experience that you've got in the squad with the likes of Gavin Gunning, etc., will be able to help the younger ones overcome these sort of little moments of when things like this happen? Yeah,
the most important thing you said there was the little moments, because in general, if you look at our start, it's been a fantastic start. The 4 games, if you're accumulating 10 points every 4 games, obviously that's championship form, but it's only 4 games, isn't it? There's going to be so much to play for still. The teams are playing well against us, I would say, so they're having a right go, as Bromley did. They never gave up, and to be fair to Bromley, in the last knock-ins, they're continuing to try and get that goal, even though they didn't fray in our half much. The one time they did in that 6 minutes, they got a goal.
What's your assessment of Dover tomorrow in terms of how they might approach the game and set up then?
Well, they're at home. They'll know that they're home form. They need to pick up points if they want to get out of the mess they're in. And what I mean by the mess is obviously the -12. They know they need to pick up points and quickly to gain confidence. So they're going to have a right go tomorrow, I would imagine. We've got to stand up to that. There's no easy game at this level. And we've got to be fully focused on, okay, the game plan. How do we want to play? How do we see the game going, and making sure we implement that the best we can, and making sure our players get the ball in the right areas, in the attacking areas to score goals.
Is it a tricky one in terms of that they've got nothing to lose really? It's sort of similar to the situations we saw at the end of last season where teams didn't have relegation, so they were just gung ho, they were going for it. Could it be the same sort of scenario tomorrow, do you feel?
No, I don't think so. I think their managers got discipline, so their performance at Altrincham, even though they conceded 3, they were unlucky to concede 3. They played in different ways, rotated a little bit, the front 4, put a low block on at the end to try and obviously get that point in the end when it was 2-2. But look, they had enough chances to win the game themselves, let alone draw it. So look, it's going to be a tough challenge. The most important thing is mentality going into the game tomorrow. Obviously the expectations for us to just go and roll them over. That doesn't happen at this level. You need to make sure you're fully focused on and implement that game plan, and we will be. I've got real confidence in the group, and then we can start focusing on Tuesday, but ultimately we're fully focused on Dover away at the moment.
and obviously it is 3 games this week. Is this where the full squad come in and play their part?
Yeah, and also with the injuries we have and will continue to have, because obviously no squad goes injury free for the season, it was important that we spread the quality a little bit more. When I first walked in the building, we didn't have certain players in certain positions at all. We only had one player for a certain position, and you can't go through a National League campaign like that, because the demands, especially when the trophy and the FA Cup kick in, the fixture list is obviously gruelling, and players will need to be rotated. Even off the back end of good performances, players might score, players might keep clean sheets, etc. in their units, but they might come out, which they have this year or this season so far in the 4 games, because I see something in the opposition where I think that we can hurt them, or something in the opposition where they can hurt us, where I think, okay, this player might be more suitable for this game, on top of the physical output as well. So, of course, what you're mentioning there is the 3 games, so you're talking about load. Of course, the players will rotate in the 3 games.
And just finally, just on those injuries, could maybe Jim Kellerman come back from Tamworth, or will he stay there for a little longer, do you feel?
No, we can't put ourselves in front of where he needs to be, otherwise we'll just lose him. So he's doing well at Tamworth, he's getting the game time he's needed for the last 2 years. It's important he completes that cycle before he's ready to come back and play the intensity that I'm looking for at National League level. He's doing really well, scoring goals, assisting. I went to watch him against Colville at the start, and he done really well in his first game, and I'm looking to get down there again when I can, when the fixtures open up for me.
Are you just assessing that one sort of month by month then, are you?
Yeah, I am, because I know him really well. I've worked with him before, so I know where he needs to be and what his potential ceiling is. So when I feel like he's physically and mentally ready, technically and tactically, I've got no doubt where he is. He's good enough to play for Chesterfield Football Club for sure and be at the top end of this league. But the other 2 areas he needs to just improve a little bit, and games will give him that.